My great joy this morning to introduce you to a dear friend. Juanita is a graduate of the University of Mississippi with a bachelor's degree in accounting. She is currently employed by Create Foundation as Vice President of Finance and Administration, and her responsibilities include the oversight of nearly $85 million in assets of the foundation. She's been employed with the foundation for over 30 years. On her 20th anniversary with Create, the foundation established the Bernice Gambrell Endowment Fund in the amount of $10,000 in honor of her mother and her 20 years of employment. She is an active member of Jesus New Testament Holiness Church located in the Red Hill community of Union County. She's the daughter of the late Frank and Bernice Gambrell of the Red Hill community, and she is the proud parent of 3 children. Tyler, who is 25, Taylor, who's 21, and Tyra, who is with us this morning, is 19, and one grandson by the name of Andrew, who is 2. There are some messages that you hear that move your heart to help you be a better person. Whether you are a mother, whether you are a father, whether you are young or old, God calls us to leave this place better, having lived and been here as we go before, however long we're on this earth. And so it is my great joy, church family, to share with you and introduce you to Juanita Gambrell Floyd and the message she has to share with you this morning. Let us give her a warm welcome.
Thank you for that kind introduction. First, I must give honor to the Lord, to Reverend Reagan, any other ministers, my own Pastor Hayes Long in his absence, my beautiful daughter Tyra, to all of the special mothers on this day, and to the entire congregation. It is an honor and a privilege for me to speak on this special day, Mother's Day. I honor the memory of my mother, Mrs. Bernice Wade Gambrell, who died on March 13, 2014. A woman who had a profound and lasting impact on my life. Before I go any farther, let's pause and applaud each mother for being in attendance today. In the summer of July 1975, a 14-year-old girl was rescued from the bottom of a swimming pool at a local apartment complex in Tupelo. The rescuer was sitting outside in a swing on that beautiful Saturday morning when he was hysterically summoned, "Mister, please come help me. My sister's in the pool." The teenager was estimated to have been underwater anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. An ambulance was called and the young girl was taken to the hospital unconscious. She was unconscious for a day and a half. Her family was told that due to the lack of oxygen for over 10 minutes, she probably would have brain damage and would possibly be a vegetable for the rest of her life. The rescuer, who became a friend and mentor to the young girl, was Mr. Junior Smith, a former banker in Tupelo. The 14-year-old girl was me, Juanita Gambrell Floyd. Now, according to man, I should not be standing here today. That drowning incident is just one of the many times the Lord has sustained and spared my life. I could tell you about the numerous car accidents I've been in, one in which I was told I would be blind in my right eye. I could tell you about nearly dying each time I gave birth to my 3 children. He has kept me here for a purpose in His plan. Believe me, I am so thankful to have been given a chance to fulfill my purpose in life. I always share this testimony because I truly could not be standing before you today. My topic focuses on relationships, the power of love and influence, and how all of us can play a very important role in making a difference in the quality of life for people of all races. When I initially told this story, I had no idea I would be repeating it over and over to various civic clubs, churches, and organizations. I just wanted to recognize and honor my mother. I'm thrilled to share her story again today. Augustus Savage said, "If I can inspire children to develop the talent I know they possess, then my reward will be in their work." We're all challenged to reflect on who has inspired and influenced us, and to ask ourselves, are we influencing others? Many times role models, mentors, friends, and heroes are not always the most well-known or well-educated, yet their encouragement becomes the inspiration for us to succeed. As I am challenged to reflect on those who have influenced me, I acknowledge that there have been many, but the one who inspired me the most was my mother, Mrs. Bernice Gambrell, an unsung hero. She was a motivator, a teacher, a strong proponent of family and family values, sole provider for the family of 7 children after the untimely death of my father when I was 9 years old. My mother always worked hard at her jobs and worked overtime to support her children and the 1 grandchild who lived with her and the 3 additional grandchildren that she later took in to raise upon the death of their mother. Her wisdom far exceeded her 8th grade education. Mary J. Blige, the singer, said, "My mother made me strong. Watching her struggle to raise us and feed us made me want to be a stronger woman." Each day that I walk into Create Foundation, where I've worked for over 30 years, I know that it's because of my mother's influence that I have a college education and a career. My mother constantly said to me, "You can do it, you can achieve it, you can be successful, and you can be anything you want to be in life." Wilma Rudolph, Olympic track star, said, "The doctor told me I would never walk, but my mother told me I could. So I believed my mother." My mother instilled in me great confidence and values. My mother's wisdom extended into many areas. How does a mother prepare a child for difficult circumstances? And how does a mother create in the child an unshakable confidence in who he or she is and what that child can achieve, and give her belief in herself that she can make it no matter what? My mother knew how. In the summer of 1969, the pivotal year of school integration, I had just finished 1st grade at B.F. Ford Elementary in New Albany. My mother told me that I was going to a new school for 2nd grade. I asked if my friends would be there. She said probably not, but I would make new friends. Every day during the summer of 1969, my mother asked me, "What is your name, your given name?" And I said, "Mama, you know my name. What is your name, your given name?" I would reply, "My name is Cosette Juanita Gambrell." While she was working outside in the garden, I would often ask her to play with me like she always did when she came home from work. But that summer, she always answered by saying no. "Why don't you sit over there and read your books?" This happened every day during that summer. In August, the night before school began, my mother said to me, "You will meet new children at your new school. The only difference is your skin is brown and theirs is white. but you're all special children. That next morning, we arrived at school. I was the only little black girl in the entire second grade at that time. There were other black children in the school, but not in my grade. My mother filled out the necessary papers. Then we walked together over to the teacher. Mother said to the teacher, "I trust you with my child. I am confident that you will protect her, teach her, and love her. By the way, when she is on the playground, would you allow her to carry her little satchel of books with her?" She then placed my hand in the teacher's hand. Those of you who are parents, imagine how my mother felt when she left her baby girl on the first day of school with white strangers, not knowing if she had prepared me enough or if I would survive the first day. She later told me after leaving the classroom, as she walked down that long hallway with tears in her eyes, she never looked back, because if she had, as any precious mother would do to protect her child, she would have scooped me up in her arms and ran. But she didn't. Later that day at recess, I went over to the merry-go-round to play. When the children would not play with me, I went over to the teacher, got my little satchel of books, and simply read. Other days on the playground, many of the children called me vicious, disrespectful, and hurtful names. And you can imagine what they called me. But guess what I said? "Oh no, that's not my name. My name is Cosette Juanita Gambrell." Later, when I would tell my mother what happened each day on the playground, my mother would always gently say, "Give it a few more days. These are children. They will want to play." I now am amazed by the wisdom of my mother that summer before school began. Her unusual tactics actually had a very subtle purpose: to prepare me for the considerable challenges that I would face. I'm happy to say that I went to school with those same students from the 2nd to the 12th grade. We became best friends, and they honored me in high school by electing me to various offices. The administration allowed me to work in the school office, the school store, and I made the majority of intercom announcements to the entire school each day. My mother was so wise by constantly saying to me, "You will be a light, you will love, you will not hate." My mother's teachings of love reminds me of the words that came from Minister Howard Thurman many years ago. If we love a child and the child senses that we love him, he will get a concept of love that all subsequent hatred in the world will never be able to destroy. Let me share another story. During my senior year of high school, there were only 2 black seniors, myself and Terry, another young lady. Well, y'all, it was time for the prom. The school rule at that time allowed only students of the 11th and 12th grade to participate. No outsiders. There was only one black young man in the 11th grade, and he'd already asked little thin, cute, long flowing hair, hourglass-shaped Terry to the prom. So guess what? I didn't have a date. But about 2 weeks before the prom, a young white man who was a senior came up to me and said, "Juanita, I've always heard my parents talk about prom night and about how exciting it is to be picked up by a boy and taken to the prom. How exciting it is for the boy to bring a corsage to the girl and meet and greet her parents and have pictures taken together at the prom. Juanita, I want you to have that experience. I want you to be able to tell your children about prom night. just like my parents told me about theirs. I will pick you up on prom night. The young white man you see in the picture of 79 looks very scared, and he was. But I have to tell you, he came to my house. He sat in the living room. He talked with my mother and myself for about 20 minutes. He brought a corsage with him, pinned it on me. We went to the prom, had our pictures taken, danced, ate, had fun. He carried me back home and kissed me on the cheek. I am truly a witness that the power of a mother's love can bring about a major change in the lives of people. Love is the key, as my mother said to me many years ago. You will love, you will not hate. Love unlocks the door to any negative situation in your life. Every night, I would hear my mother praying, Lord, let the heart of a child come forth. After I got older, I realized my mother knew that if the heart of a child came forth, the children would not see color. Imagine if that was your precious daughter, a granddaughter, son, or grandson. What would you feel like if your child was hated and mistreated because of the color of their skin? When I would say, Mama, the students don't like me, Mama would say, you will love and not hate. Mama, the boys stick out their legs and trip me. They throw spitballs at me every day. When I would go to the restroom, the white girls would say, here comes the end. Let's see what stall she uses because we don't want to use the same stall. My mother kept on praying. Can you imagine Mama's pain? But she kept saying to me, you still must love. The majority of the time in school, I was the only black in my classes. Mama talked to me all the time about an education. She said, you must get an education. That's the only way you can do better than me. The day I graduated from Ole Miss, I walked up to Mama, who had tears streaming down her face, and I said, Mama, this is yours. You deserve this degree. Friends, because of Mrs. Bernice Wade Gambrell, I can stand at this podium today to try to make a difference and hopefully leave this world better than I found it. I can try to encourage, motivate, and inspire us to love, to have compassion on people, respect, and racial harmony with each other. Marion Wright Elderman said, if you are a parent, let me say, if you are a mother, recognize that it is the most important calling and rewarding challenge you have. What you do every day, what you say, and how you act will do more to shape the future of America than any other factor. The influence that we have on others can span years and generations. A few years ago, I received a phone call from my 8th grade son's homeroom teacher asking me to come to the school so that she could speak personally to me about a matter. And those of us who are parents, you know the dreaded phone call from the teacher. I arrived at the school with a very heavy heart, concerned about my son. The teacher thanked me for coming, and these were her words to me. There is a boy whose name is John. John is white. The children call him a nerd. John has severe acne. When he walks down the hall, they clear a path around him. He sits alone in the cafeteria. When he raises his hands to answer a question, the kids laugh at him because of his accent. I need to tell you that your son has made a difference in John's life. Out of all the children in the 8th grade, black or white, rich or poor, your son started sitting with John in the cafeteria. Tyler is late for his own classes so that he can walk John to his classes. Mrs. Floyd, John is now a happy boy. With tears streaming down my eyes, I left the classroom and I went to my car, where I thank God for my mother, who years earlier instilled in me the value of making a difference in the lives of others, regardless of race, black or white, or socioeconomic status, rich or poor. Her teachings have now spanned another generation. Mrs. Bernice Gambrell, my mother, was the best thing that ever happened to me and to my family. Tyler told me that he and the young man reunited on Facebook. The young man thanked Tyler for being his friend in high school. Tyler said to me, "Mama, I believe John was on the verge of committing suicide in high school." So you see, mothers, by your beliefs, words, and actions, you can lift the lives and spirits of those you meet and truly make a difference in their lives. You might ask, Juanita, how does this story correlate with Mother's Day? Just as my mother made a difference in my life by constantly reminding me to love and not hate and have a positive attitude. All of us have the same power. You have the power to not only birth babies, but to protect and teach children, just like my mother. If not for my mother's encouragement during elementary and high school, I don't know where I would be. By the way, after 1st grade, I never had another black teacher. All my teachers were white. But I made it because of my precious mother. I would not have been successful. I would not have a job. I would not be managing the assets of Create Foundation if not for my mother's teachings and instructions. I could have easily been bitter. I could have been a racist, unproductive, no motivation, no love for people. I could have been a dropout. I never thought I would be standing before audiences telling my mother's story. I never thought I would be writing a monthly column in the Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal about all things my opinions. And I said earlier, that's very dangerous. But just as my mother impacted my life with only an 8th grade education, each of you have a chance to impact this world with your abilities to make a difference. It doesn't matter about a person's race, nationality, or socioeconomic status. What does matter is, as a mother, you can effectively make a difference in someone's life. How do I know this? My mother did. Joshua Henry Jones, a novelist, said, "None of us are responsible for our births, but all of us are responsible with what we do with our lives." As my mother stated many years ago, the night before school began, our skin is brown, yours is white, but we're all special people. Whatever our lot is in life, black, white, Hispanic, rich or poor, whatever your lot is in life, whatever capacity, large or small, you have the opportunity and the responsibility to make a difference in the quality of life for people. Today I honor my late mother, Bernice Wade Gambrell, for having the courage to stand up and say to her children, "You will love and not hate." Political writer Maria Stewart said, "O ye mothers, what a responsibility rests on you. You have souls committed to your charge, and God will require a strict account of you." Mothers, a charge has been placed on our lives as mothers to teach, train, nurture, and raise our children in the admonition of love and the fear of the Lord. In closing, I stand before you today knowing that life is so short and uncertain. I must say this in honor and in memory of my nephew, my sister's only child. Nearly 9 years ago, my handsome, outgoing, beautiful personality, wonderful singer, 32-year-old nephew, and the grandson whom my mother raised in our home, Milton Gambrell, was killed in a car accident. This reminded me that life is so short. Jacob Lawrence said, "When my life ends, to know that I've added a little beauty, a little more perception, and to know that I have improved the quality of life of just one individual who will follow after me, then my living, your living as a mother is not in vain." When our journey ends in life, and it will end one day, what will be said about us as mothers? What is our legacy? Wouldn't it be great to know that because God allowed us to be mothers, our family, our churches are better because we lived? Wouldn't it be great to know that my community, your community, is better because we lived? Our homes, our jobs, whatever it is better because we as mothers lived. Mothers, you truly are a gift from God. I honor you today. Thank you for upholding the high office of motherhood. Wise King Solomon in the book of Proverbs asked the question, "Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies." King Solomon continued his description of a virtuous woman by stating this, "Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all." He ended by saying, "Give her the reward she has earned and let her works bring her praise." Mothers, today your works have brought you praise. Happy Mother's Day. I'll end with my final and favorite quote, and I paraphrase. "We shall not pass this way but once. Therefore, any good that we can do, any kindness that we can show, as blacks, as whites, as mothers, as parents, if we can improve the quality of life for people, if we can help teach and show the message of love to all people, black, white, red, or yellow, rich or poor, let us do it now. For you see, in the end, when it's all said and done, we shall not pass this way again." Thank you.